Bet. One more thing. There it is. Got to get these people up here. All right. Thank you for coming to This and That, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. We got us. This is going to be one of those heart-to-heart kind of conversations today. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe and join the membership. Good news. I'm gonna remind y'all again at the end of the show because I know when Red Void gets here from Twitch, he's going to be here. I see you guys rolling in now. So I got to give him a shout out. I'm waiting on the product to come in. There's a new game, a new card game, dating card game out there called Dating Assassin. So I'm going to be talking about that coming soon. As soon as that product comes in, we're going to be probably run a whole show on it. Not even waste no kicks on it. Just run a whole show on it. So we're gonna we got a few products coming because we still got the investor book coming in. I got to schedule a time and a day to get that investor in here because we typically start 9 Eastern, 8 Central, 5 Pacific. So since we start so late, we have to make sure that the guest can appear. But once we get everything scheduled for our guest to appear, we will have our guest on the podcast, and he'll be explaining to us his investment strategies. So with him coming soon on the show, then the other guest that we have that I'm trying to see if I can get her on the show, I think her name is Simone or Sequoia, something like that. She's supposed to be coming in and talking about the Dating Assassin card game. So we're supposed to be trying to get her onto the show. So while we're working on getting everybody lined up, getting the guests lined up, because we got quite a few affiliate products that we're going to be talking about on the show coming soon. So I got to position it up here somewhere. Got to redirect my camera. I might have to move the screen over some and put the stuff up over here on the table instead of having my coffee here. Have the product of the day over here in the corner so that we can look at it. But we got some good stuff coming in upcoming times. But like the show we was talking about yesterday, we've got delays in distribution because of the protesting in the South and the East that is interfering with products being shipped from one side of the country to the next. So there's a possibility that I might have some delays in the product getting here. But I'm going to be checking the tracking numbers of all of the products that's being shipped, and then I'll give you guys an update as to when we'll have it up onto the show. Make note that the show is live 7 nights a week, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, 5 Pacific. We do operate on CP time from point to point. We're still tap dancing around this internet situation. From what I understand, if I go to the other side of the state, which you got to buy a $500,000 property to move to the other side of the state, but go to the other side of the state, and how you doing, Trish? Be able to get better internet service. So that's what we're on right now. But in the meantime, today we're going to be talking about these females and us falling short with our communication with women. And since we got some women in the comment section, it's always good for you ladies to jump in and put your 2 cents in. Speaking of jumping in and putting your 2 cents in, for those of you that are on TikTok, because we got a multi-platform brand here. So for those of you that are watching us on TikTok, we've got the ability to request an invite to be onto the show live so that you can jump in with us and we can talk in a group live and in real time. Does that say kidney? Kyle, you got to do something about that. Oh, that's kitty. Wow, kitty. That it looked like kidney for a second there. I see some reckless names in the chat. I'm gonna call y'all out now. But for the rest of y'all that are watching us on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, we have a link in the comment section, and you guys can click the mic or click the link, approve the mic, approve the camera, and then it'll bring you up on real time on the other screen. Right now, we kind of got like a picture-in-picture scenario because over here on the bottom right screen for TikTok, there is the YouTube platform because we're primarily a YouTube platform, but we kind of just decided to go everywhere with it. So go over there to YouTube and subscribe. But also note that everybody else is over there on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. So their comments I'll be able to put up onto the screen, and then you guys in TikTok will be able to see what they have to say. There is a share screen option where I can put my screen up here where you guys can see the comments from TikTok if I go down that route. But I'm gonna cross that bridge when I get to it, because we don't really have a lot of back and forth action from both platforms at the same time. So we get we've had a couple days where everybody was talking at the same time, but we do have more often than not a little bit of a dissertation between the two. So why do our conversations with women often fall flat? That's what today we're supposed to be talking about on the show, and it's very interesting for us to debate. I know that when I start talking about this, there are going to be some ladies that are going to have some negative pushback, but a lot like we've been talking about in the comment section throughout the day. If you guys have been following some of the feeds on the For You page, you start seeing some of these shorts come up where we were talking about on a previous show about how men are deterred from some types of women because those women's behavior with being overly controlling and overly demanding, and then evading their responsibilities to their financial responsibilities to provide in situations where they're taking the authoritative position to be the leader. And in those shorts we were talking about, the comments are going back and forth where some women didn't think about it like that, and some of the men are like, yeah, they gonna argue with you on that, and inherently the show went live, and I mean the short went live, and then after the short went live, we're doing a show, and it's similar to the comment section. So that's actually pretty cool that the comment section is running in line with today's show, because the way it is explained with the interactions between men and women, because women are taught by other women to be leaders and independent and not need men. And men have to show their value to women by spending money on the women. The women have only found that men are worth their attention when the man is more profitable than women. We've even had some comments come up yesterday, as a matter of fact, where some women were upset with the fact that they had to quote unquote date down. But that is a misconception, because women that are complaining about quote unquote dating down is dating down because of their expectations of elevating themselves from getting with a man. And if you are not elevating yourself from getting with a man, you're dating down, but you're actually dating somebody on your level, because a man is on your level if he can do for you what you can do for yourself. You are dating down when you are doing for the man what he can't do for himself. That's when you're dating down. But when you're dating a man that can do for you what you're doing for him, and you're willing to do for him what he can do for himself, you're dating somebody on your level. It's beneath your expectations, though. So that concept of dating down, but that's unrealistic expectations, and dating beneath those unrealistic expectations, that's when you're perceivably dating down. But in our communications with women, why are our communications falling flat with women, and why are we not as successful with providing that communication? Well, as protectors and providers, more often than not, we have the obligation as the authority in engagements with women, even if we do not believe that we are the authority in the engagements with women. Even if the women don't believe that the men are authorities in the engagements with women, the women's expectation for the man to approach the woman and initiate first contact puts the authority in the hands of the man inherently, because we ain't talking if I don't go over there. See how that works? So since you're putting the authority in the hands of the man for the man to make the first engagement, instead of taking a modest position and engaging the man and letting the man know that you're interested, since you're making it the man's requirement to engage you as a female, those females that behave this way have to adhere to the authority of the engagement. So one of the reasons why the conversations are falling short is because if she looks at you and you stereotypically don't meet her expectations visually, where you're not dressed the way she would expect her ideal man to dress, if you're not as tall as her ideal man is supposed to be while she's wearing 6-inch stiletto heels, or if you're not driving an expensive car or is willing to spend a bunch of money on her, because men have been taught to impress women. And we used to impress women with our words. We used to impress women with our dialogue. We used to be able to impress women with our effort and our actions. And then men started getting lazy and started coming from the perspective, it ain't tricking if you got it. And then men started just throwing money at the woman. It's like, I don't have to have a personality if I can buy her attention. And that's where the Raleigh theory came from, because instead of the women engaging and maintaining contact and communication with the men because of the integrity and the character of the man, she is only looking at how much money she can get out of the man. And if she can get enough money out of the man, then she'll do whatever the man wants. But those relationships are not long-lasting relationships, because those relationships will only last until the man's money runs out, or until the man decides not to continue spending that amount of money. Also, it'll run out if her desire to spend more of the man's money occurs and the man does not have the ability to give her a pay raise for her presence. But those relationships exist where the men are impressing the women by buying them stuff. The man is impressing the woman by taking her to expensive places. I've been saying, I did, what was it, Monday, Tuesday of this week? I did a show where we were talking about how you could feed your girlfriend for under $5 a meal. You could cook at the house. You could heat some stuff up, put it in the microwave, whatever you want to do. You could eat for under $5 a meal. So this $250 dinner date that you're taking this girl on to impress her, to wow her, it's just a waste of money to feed her ego. You're not showing her that you're valuable as a man. You're showing her that you're wasteful and you're willing to waste money in her direction. Another thing that we're doing in our conversations, because we're only trying to figure out what she wants. We're focusing on what she wants. And I'm not saying that that's a wrong position to have. What I'm saying is that she's focusing on what she wants. So if you as a man are focusing on what she wants, the question is, who's focusing on what the man wants? If everybody is focusing on one person and nobody's focusing on the other person, are both people equally getting the attention that they need? No, they're not. And that's why we're in a position where we're clashing, because women have a false sense of entitlement to want more and then not do more. And they want to evade responsibility through manipulation by saying, oh, well, maybe if we do a little less, then I'll consider doing X, Y, and Z. And then when you give them what they ask for, they still don't come through. That's unacceptable. I noticed, I seen in some of my research, I seen a guy come up and he was looking at one of those fraternity dolls in the clothing store. He was like, oh, she wants baby. And the girl comes back with, oh, she wants a ring. Well, sweetheart, if you ain't got the ring because you ain't earned the ring, but the ring is a symbol for you and your mentality, because we had it on the show plenty of times before. Husband material was husband material when it met him. You don't create husband material by marrying a man that is not husband worthy. Wife material was wife material when you met her. You don't create wife material by putting a ring on her finger, marrying her. The ideology and concepts of marriage does not change the person or the person's character or the person's identity. So whether or not you get married, whether or not you fill out a legal document as a justice of the peace so that you can have better tax breaks, none of that matters, because how she treats you is not going to be any different. And in fact, because you guys are married, since the threat of divorce is there, you now have the ability to have a more controlling individual in your relationship that is going to be more negative, because if things don't go well, you'll get divorced. And that usually negatively impacts the man, where the man has to pay extra royalties to the woman for the divorce. So why, back to our conversation, falling short with women. We're not talking about what she's interested in. But as men, the conversation isn't about what the man is interested in. So that's really the main reason why you're losing communication with the women. The women are not caring about who you are and what you got going on. So if you're focusing on who she is and what she likes and what she doesn't like, you'll end up in a situation where you're now being scolded because you didn't do what she expected you to do because of whatever reason. And now you are apologizing because you should know better, because you should know what she wants and what she likes and what she needs. But if you ask that same woman what does that man want, like, and need, don't worry, I'll wait. And still she's not going to answer. So how do we change our communication styles? Well, it's a hard fought battle when you're dealing with 2 against 1, when you're in those situations where it's her and her homegirl, or her and her sister, or her and her mom, something like that. But in the most part, you're supposed to be having conversations with your girlfriend or your wife, just the 2 of y'all. And when you're having conversations with your girlfriend or your wife, just the 2 of y'all, you're in a position where you are supposed to be able to lay down the expectations that you have. And then in those conversations with her, you're not wasting all of your effort and energy with getting to know what her preferences are, because while her preferences are equally important, you're actually focusing on, is she willing and capable of adhering to your expectations? So you got to lay all your expectations out on the line in the beginning, as many of them as you can remember, and then as they come, you're able to stand on principle with those expectations. I was thinking that's a great idea for us to talk about it in a future show, about some of the things that we could really be talking to the girl about, asking questions about. The dating cards that I was telling y'all about, that's another thing that would help you out with getting those in-depth heart-to-heart questions, because it's a waste of time to ask a girl what's her favorite color, what's her favorite movie, what's her favorite food, what's her favorite perfume, what's her favorite place to shop. You're not getting any information about that girl's personality when you're asking such shallow ass questions. You don't need to ask her what her favorite food is. When you go places to eat, see what she orders. The thing that she orders the most, that's her favorite thing. Unless it's something that's not readily made in America, then you'll have a situation where she wished she had it. Her great grandmama used to make it, and her great grandma ain't around no more. That's the kind of conversation that you have. Well, if you can have something that you haven't had in a long time, what would it be? You've got an in-depth question. It's an open-ended in-depth question. It's not a yes or no question. It's not like, oh, do you like chocolates? Yes. Conversation's dead, bro. If you ask yes or no questions, whether it's your girlfriend, whether it's a girl that you're trying to date, whether it's your wife, if you're asking yes or no close-ended questions, you don't have a conversation. Nobody likes to be interrogated. So asking a woman too many questions is about as bad, if not worse, than asking a man too many questions. But if you only formulate yes or no questions, there is no opportunity to derive a linear conversation where she will say something that intrigues you. You will capitalize on that by supporting it with like knowledge, or countering it with new knowledge, and then you guys will have a discussion back and forth where you're talking about whatever the topic is. I drew a blank on it because I'm sitting over here thinking about like a billion different things at the same time, and that's going to be another thing that's going to negatively impact your ability to maintain communication, because she's going to say something that's going to make you stop and think, or you're going to say something that she's not going to feel comfortable with saying, and that's going to make you stop and think. In both situations, you need to be really evaluating your red flags. As men, we're not paying attention to our red flags. We just want to know if she likes us. We want to know if she's into us. We want to know if she'll go out with us again. But you got to remember, if she's only going out with you at your expense, exactly how much of this is her going out with you because of you and your behavior and your ability to do stuff? Or is it just that she's out there trying to have a good time and you're funding her good time? these questions that you can't figure out if you're not having those correct conversations. You also have poor choice of venue for your conversations. The poor choice of venue for your conversations causes your conversations to fall flat, because if you're having a conversation in a noisy location, you can't hear each other. You're going to get tired of trying to talk over the music, and then you guys are going to just stop talking. Some people that say, well, we don't have to talk, we could just dance, we could just vibe. I'm sorry, I got to pause, because when people say vibe, I'm sitting here thinking about vibing with these air quotes. I'm sitting here thinking about vibing, and I'm thinking about the fact that if you guys are getting along, which I guess is the new terminology or date message, vibing message that they're getting, if you guys are getting along, then you feel like you don't have to speak to one another. But while part of that is true, the other part of it is that the first encounter, you are supposed to know that she's interested in you, that she doesn't have other obligations that's going to hold her back from engaging you, that she does not have financial obligations that you have to support in order for you to get to know her better, and that she's not still committed to somebody else. See what I'm saying? That's just 4 out of the first 20 questions. But you're supposed to get through those. Who are you? Are you nearby? Do you got any investments that you're dealing with? Do you got any debt that you're dealing with? And are you still wrapped around your ex-boyfriend? That's 5 questions. See, now you're supposed to be asking 20, and out of 20, I got 5 on the back of my hand here. And we're supposed to be able to evaluate the engagements between men and women to be able to determine if the woman that we're engaging is worth our time or is valuable of our time. Likewise, women got it down pat. And fellas, you don't really think that women got it down pat. They're terrible choices in selecting men. Not gonna lie, their taste is so far unrealistic, it's ridiculous. But when they do settle for less than their expectations and they acquire themselves a man, the criteria is the style of dress, your height, your weight, the occupation that you have. So if you don't have a prestigious job, you're not their type. But if you have a prestigious job and you're not making that much money, they might sleep with you a couple times. But if you're making a lot of money, then they will prioritize you to spend your money. And that's not all women. That's just the lower value ones that we have to come across on a regular basis. And that's one of the reasons why we say that it is hard for us as men to be able to hold those conversations, because the conversations that we're having, we're asking questions that are irrelevant to our objective as men. And it's also irrelevant to the negotiations of a smooth transition for women. And I said smooth transitions for women. Compromise means that she's got the transferring, what's transitioning between a man and a woman, her authority over certain shit. Because you got a lot of women that say, well, they want a man that could take half of her responsibilities off of her plate. Well, if he's taking half of her responsibilities off of her plate, he is now unofficially her power of attorney for all the shit she doesn't want to do. He's the primary trustee over all the shit that she doesn't want to handle. But when she wants to be in control, whether she wants to be in control because her friends are here, she wants to be in control because her family is here, when she wants control, you're supposed to, as a man, submit to that. I keep telling you guys, hands down, we're not submitting to shit. It is what it is. We gotta go in there. We gotta make it work. And if we can't go in there and make it work, we're gonna have to shut it down. Whew. I tell you guys, we had us a long day today. Back-to-back phone calls, poor internet. We've got a lot of video editing, a lot of show creation stuff here. It's wild. It's crazy. Some of the other reasons why it isn't good for us to put false effort into the female ability to make it make sense. When we're dealing with, oh yeah, that back pressure, that was crazy. Whew. Oh, speaking of back issues, so I was talking to one of the affiliate marketers, and this actually works for the ladies too. But I was talking to one of the affiliate marketers that They got a product they want me to promote for the men that should help you guys with back pain, inflammation, cholesterol, testosterone levels, stuff to that effect, which will kind of give you an added boost. So it's something that I think would be good for us to be talking about coming soon. But I was thinking about that one, and I was also thinking about the website that they give to pick up the product. And I'm like, dang. As men, we don't really focus on our own success. We don't really focus on our own health. We really just focus on the happiness of the women that we have and the kids that we have, in addition to the women that we have. It's hard, but one thing that you realize is that the only maintenance that a man does on himself is getting himself ready for work. He doesn't do Tai Chi a lot of the times. He doesn't always bench press weights all the time. But because he doesn't take better care of himself, the men typically fall that responsibility onto the woman that they get. And you got women that don't want to nurse a man back to health. They think that men are geriatric at 40 years old, 45 years old, because those men want a woman that's going to massage his back because his back hurts, or cook himself to eat because he's too tired to get up and walk across the room and make himself something to eat. And these mediocre tasks that women have are making them feel like they are being oppressed by male chauvinists, and that's not the case. But the discussions that we've had on podcasts a time or two in the past, we've talked about how if the women led from the rear, because if you think about chess, women are never make the first move. Never will you see a woman make a first move. Typically, the pawns make the first move, and then the queen can move after that. And typically, when the queen does move, the queen is supposed to protect the king. Now, in reality, the queen doesn't protect the king. In reality, the king gets messed over. So it's hard for us to try to figure out what can we do? How can we do this? How can we work this out where we're able to provide the appropriate quantity of communication to the girls that we're talking to and not lose her interest, especially when we're dealing with social media. How do you not lose a girl's interest on social media? Well, first of all, if you're going through the profile, instead of just looking at the photo and swiping right on the photo, if you go through the profile and look at the bio, if she didn't put any effort into her bio, she's not that interested. So you're going to get a girl that's probably going to ghost you more often than not because she ain't even really interested in the platform, much less you. You get somebody who does put up the effort to put information into their bios, because some apps force you to do a bio. The bio is short. It might be genuine, but if the bio is short, more than likely it's the minimum requirement for the bot. Those people that write a 3-page book where it takes like 5 minutes to read her bio, that person really cares. So if you're paying attention to some of the little cues as men, when you see women doing certain things, because you got to understand that women don't come out directly and tell you what they expect you to do. Women are instead going to behave a certain way, and you're supposed to take that behavior like Indian tribe smoke signals to telegraph exactly what you want done without having to say anything, which makes absolutely no sense. But that's what we have to deal with. Lord, I'm tired, y'all. I'm sitting here trying to hang in. I said, I'm going to do this show one way or another. 30 minutes in and I'm tired. It's been the hardest 8 hours, and I got like 12 hours more to go because I got to keep going until 8 a.m. This is a tough situation. But yes, when we're dealing with women who have expectations, even in conversations, you're dealing with women with expectations. Those expectations aren't always met on first date because, one, as a man, you don't know what those expectations are. When a woman does things that a man likes, man's like, oh yeah, she's on my team. But without telling a man what to do, what to expect, like women expect men to psychically look him in the eyes, not anywhere else, and then be able to identify and rationalize the fact that this girl wants X, Y, Z, A, B, and C. Well, if you didn't tell me that look on your face means something specific, then I'm not going to think about going to get those tacos. And some people are different. We had one fan jump up on the show and they'd be like, oh, no, I cook for you, I clean for you, I make you the best custom made chalupa tacos. And I'm looking at that like, but where is she valuing you, bro? Where is she valuing you? Like, you're talking about your desperation as a man is coming down to you're willing to drop down on one knee and rotate tires and everything like that for a girl that has not shown her value. So you pick your brain. Your conversations are more successful if you pick her brain about her values, so that you can determine if her values are in line with your values. Because some people's values are stronger than other people's. Some people say thou shalt not kill, and some people say kill, sell, thou shalt not rob me. It really depends on what kind of person you got on the other side of the room with you. That's that's probably the toughest thing that I've had to say so far. Oh boy, I don't know. I might be having a heat stroke because I am utterly tired. The stress gets you. And one of the things that ladies don't understand is that when the stress gets to a man, the man doesn't have ability to rehabilitate himself. Like I'm doing right now on the podcast. What we typically do as men is we do self-preservation tactics, and our self-preservation tactics allows us to continue pushing in spite of our inability to function. And we have some women that it's going to kill your conversation. Uh, a man's not going to want to have to explain himself as to why he's not doing something that he didn't get time to do, or he does not feel okay with getting done. And a woman is going to say, well, you had all this extra time to get it done. Why didn't you do it? You see this expression of burnout? Burnout just hit me at the most inconvenient time. And we got to muscle through it. But after we finish muscling through it, now we've got to muscle our way out of this argument with a female that we're not supposed to be arguing in order to do what she said do in the first place. That's the hard part. Yeah. So, oh yeah, my head hurts. I'm gonna wrap it up today. I'm gonna do a short show today. Uh, we're gonna have us a longer show tomorrow. I know that you guys were looking forward to us having a pretty decent sized discussion, but apparently I am under the weather all of a sudden. So instead of me trying to force myself to not pass out on the podcast tonight, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap the show up a little bit short, and then I'm gonna try to run us an extra length of time tomorrow to add to the quantity of time that we're here today, because I believe, and I'll probably continue today's topic too, because I mean there are some things that we can do besides putting our lighters in different places and not burning the house down. There are some different things that we can do to improve our ability to interact with females. But I just got to be real with you. Today is one of them days where I don't got it in me. I don't got it in me. And even with that feeling, as a man, I continue to push on and try to allow things to get done. But you come to those that say, hey, this is the week that I'm on vacation, and they're not going to do anything. And if you say something to them, then take your head off and put it in a duffel bag and leave it in the back seat of the car. So you gotta look at your whole scenario. So, like I said, I'm burnt out. I got to tap. It is not what I expected. I might go live a little later, or do 2 lives tomorrow or something like that, because I know 2 lives are going to start coming up soon, because I got some ad products that I wanted to show you guys. But yeah, I am probably 80% burnt out right now, 90% burnt out right now. And as I'm holding my eyes open to the best of my ability, the ability to think straight is not there. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap the show up for tonight. I do start every night at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, 5 Pacific. So we're always live every night of the week, 7 nights a week, for the same times of night. So I encourage you guys to swing back by the show tomorrow. We'll be able to carry this conversation on a little bit further, in addition to the conversation that we have for tomorrow night. And if I can get some research together to kind of hold you guys down with some facts, since women like facts, they don't really want to accept the fact that all of the people in the neighborhood have the same opinion. We got to give them facts. So I'm going to go and find you some facts. And after I bring you back some facts for the topic of discussion, then we'll be able to go deeper into it. And then we can try to get these females to kind of understand why the communication is falling flat. The communication is falling flat because of the unrealistic expectations of the females, while the females are imposing that expectation onto the males. And the males are like, nope, not doing it. And they're walking away from the deal. Or some of them try and then fail because it's more than what they were expecting was more than what you gave them. And what you gave them is more than what you had available. That's a horrible scenario to be in. So take all this stuff under advisement. I'm going to start by signing out of TikTok. And I say this every night of the week. As long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to have to ask you to make it make sense. So ladies, make it make sense. And YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Yeah, I have pretty much, destroyed my entire attention span by getting over here trying to shut down TikTok. Okay, so I appreciate you guys for coming to the show. Appreciate you guys showing the support. I am, in fact, burned out, so I'm going to be signing off right now. But I do appreciate you guys coming. I encourage you guys to come tomorrow night. The show is getting better throughout the week. It's getting better throughout the months. So we're going to start seeing some guest stars coming up onto the show, and you guys will be able to ask questions and comments related to the topic of discussion. So I'm not going to present to the co-collaborator all of the in-depth information on the podcast because, you know, we want to make sure that you guys are doing what you need to be doing. So with that being said, oh yeah, and that's another thing I got to do. I got to take time out of my day. Apparently, I've been using StreamYard for a long period of time, right? So I just want to talk to you guys about this real quick. StreamYard has just done a recent upgrade where they're allowing you to do intro photos and outdoor photos. Well, if you do a few dozen Jamaican outros and intro videos, you're able to create the type of video for your podcast that could potentially support your show, or do like opening credits or end credits or something like that, that allows you to have a 3 to 5 minute window of entertainment before the show gets started and a couple minutes of entertainment after the show ends, so that fans that come and watch the show can watch it, can be entertained going in, and then watch the show. And then after they get finished getting entertained going in, then they will start, you know, hanging out for the full duration of the show. So Red Boy, I do believe I see you in here. I really appreciate you coming, man. Burnout Central, that's where we are right now. So I'm gonna tap out early. I'm about 15-20 minutes early, but I'm gonna go ahead and tap out early because I want to make sure that I can get these custom videos put up and the affiliate videos that I have to create put up. So I'm gonna do a lot of this behind the scenes editing and video input. And then tomorrow we're gonna run through all of the topics for today, earlier topics this week. Probably gonna do a 2-hour, maybe 3-hour show, depending on whether or not I got something coming up after, because I've got a lot of clients coming up this weekend. They're booking like hotcakes. So just keep all that stuff in mind. With that being said, I really appreciate you coming to This and That. I'm your host, Sander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And I'm gonna sign out early tonight. So I will see y'all tomorrow.